Bali is known for their cheap clothes and shoes, but the real question is, how good are these products? Now, if you guys have been to Bali, you would know every single street has at least 50 of these stores. They have every type of shoe ranging from Birkenstocks to Nikes to even New Balances. And while I was over there, I knew a lot of tourists have been buying from these stores. Now, who knows how much these people could have been paying? It could be ranging from $70 to $40, but even then, that is still pretty expensive. Most of the people that own these stores start off with a very expensive price. Usually it starts at around 800,000 rupiah. Now, for those that don't know, that's around 80 Australian dollars. But usually it's very easy to lower these prices. When it comes to shoes, these sellers do not lower their prices to below 45 bucks. And even most of the stores have fixed prices, which means they won't lower them at all. So half the time you'll be spending around 60 bucks, which in my opinion is actually quite expensive, especially when you're buying a product that's not even that good. Now, I'm quite experienced when it comes to buying cheap clothes and shoes. And in my time, I've actually bought quite a lot. So while I was over there, I tested out a bunch of different shoes to test the quality. And to be honest, I couldn't find a single pair that was worth buying. On the last day, I tried to find a pair of shoes that I actually liked. Now, I ran into multiple problems while doing this. And one of the big problems is sizing. Now, I'm quite a big size foot, which is US size 12. And to be honest, I couldn't find a single shoe that would actually fit my feet. Every single time I got given a US 12, they were way too small. And I'm pretty sure they don't go over this size. And while I was fitting most of these shoes on, I also noticed that they were not comfortable. A common thing I found is they had a very thin insole. It honestly just felt like you're walking on wood. And they also had zero padding around your ankles, which I found very annoying. And to be honest, when you're buying something for 70 bucks, you should be getting a product that's actually pretty decent. 90% of the time, every single pair of shoes had a massive amount of flaws. And in the end, I just could not find it reasonable to buy a pair. Here's a look at a pair of Dunks that I was looking at. As you can see, these don't even have the right logo on the tongue. I don't know how hard that is to mess up. They literally put an SB logo on it. And looking at the build quality, they're also the wrong shape. You can also see a bunch of glue marks on them and also a bunch of stitching areas. When I asked how much these pair cost, they cost 65 bucks. And that was a fixed price, by the way. Here I got a pair of VT batch Dunks, which only cost me 25 bucks. And it's probably one of the best batches of the Dunks that you can get from CNFANS for a cheap price. And as you can see with this pair, every single detail around them are on point. You can see not a single stitching area is there. They've also got the shape and there's no glue marks. Most importantly, the materials on these are also really nice. And they've also got a thick inside, which just makes them that much more comfortable. And thankfully, they've also got the right tag on the tongue. I also took a look at a pair of Jordan 4s while I was over there. And these possibly could be one of the worst shoes I've ever seen. I don't even think I've seen a pair of DHgate shoes as bad as these. As you can see, they haven't even got the simple things right, like the cage. All the materials on them are also off. The back tab doesn't even flick back up. And once again, the build is totally different to what it's supposed to look like. Here's just a quick reference of what UNC Jordan 4s is supposed to look like. And for those wondering, I've swapped these out with white laces. As you can see with this pair, every single detail is on point once again. This was a bit more of an expensive batch, coming in at 60 bucks. That is still cheaper than the shoes they had in there. The only type of pair of shoes that I'd think about getting would be a pair of TNs or any other basic Nike shoe like that. On the outside, most of the shoes like the TNs actually look pretty decent. As you can see with this pair here, on the outside, they look good. If I saw someone walking around with a pair of these in the street, I would not notice a difference. The only downside with these shoes, once again, is the inside of them isn't great. You guys get pretty sore feet for walking around in them for around an hour. My main point here is just be careful of the shoes that you buy in Bali. Most of the time, these shoes will not be good. And for the price you're paying, they're pretty much scamming you. Now, I know I've just slaughtered the shoes, but there actually are some decent stuff in Bali that you can get. To start this off, it is handbags. Most of the handbags in Bali look good. Most of the time, the stores that will be selling shoes will also be selling handbags. These bags will range from Gucci side bags all the way to LV duffel bag. I did manage to get a couple close-ups of these bags, and from what I saw, the quality in these was a lot better than I expected. Most of the time, they were made out of a nice material, and they did a good job in getting all the logos on point. Some of these bags will be a little bit more expensive than other products, but once again, you can just get this price lower depending on what store you're buying from. Sometimes it will cost up to 100 bucks. Just depends on how good the quality actually is. There are also some other good quality items you can find in Bali, like watches. Here I got a Patek Philippe that I only got for 45 bucks. Now, before people come at me, yes, I know this watch band is not correct, but just to let you know, this is the standard band you'll get for buying any watch in Bali. If you guys really wanted to, you could just buy a separate band for cheap and just replace it with this one. But the main point I have about this watch is the watch is actually not that bad. Compared to the band, it's not made out of cheap plasticky material. It's got a nice glass covering the watch, and all the details on the inside look pretty spot on. Now, I don't know heaps about watches, so there definitely is some flaws on this watch. From the average person's eye like me, these look fine. These watch sellers also do have a bunch of different watches on their selection. As you can see, it ranges from Cartiers to APs. Luke's Reps also did cop a Cartier watch for his dad. I'm pretty sure he only paid around 40 bucks for it, which is around the average price you'd be paying for a watch from CNFANS. Now, the second item I also picked up was a pair of Prada glasses. The only reason why I really picked these up was because they actually are polarized lens, which for those that didn't know, polarized lenses are just a lot better for your eyes. And currently, these $7 ones I bought from CNFANS don't have polarized lenses. By the way, I copped this for 20 bucks. I did get that lowered lowered all the way down from $60. But I mean, most of the time these sellers will just try and get the most out of you. Since they know you are a tourist, they just try and make as much money out of you as they can, which is understandable because this is their job. Anyway, comparing the two, these are actually pretty good quality. I can still feel they're made out of cheap plastic, but to be honest, it feels better than the $7 ones I bought from CNFANS. I've worn these ones from CNFANS quite a bit, and that's why you can see that the Prada logo is slowly wearing off, which I presume the same thing will happen with these ones from Bali, which I mean is a fair trade. They are pretty cheap quality, but overall I think it's pretty worth it considering these are polarized. Now the final items I'm talking about are clothing items. Most of the time these stores are just selling NBA jerseys. And once again, I didn't want to buy one of these jerseys because the quality just was not it. Usually these jerseys were just one big print. And most of the time you see the pixels in these prints. The jersey materials were also very thin. And personally, I just wasn't a fan. Although while I was over there, I did cop poor power jerseys for my dad. I just spent around $20 on it, which isn't that bad. I probably could have got it lowered a little bit more. But in the end, I didn't really care because I had cash to burn. It was my last day there. Anyway, if you guys are heading to Bali and want to buy some of their clothes there and shoes, I'd probably just stay clear from it and spend your money on something different. Something like food. That's what I did. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you all later. Peace out.